promise I'm going to make this one very quick because I've just gotten off work and I'm dead tired and I just want to jump into bed, get my bladder cleaned out, and I don't know, maybe I actually should hit the shower first before actually doing all this mess, but why am I busy running my mouth telling you all my personal problems like that? It ain't even about that. But and checking my little subscription list and everything just after uploading one of my latest uploads, I was reminded of a topic yet again, and it's being more and more coming up in the news that and in a sense it's good news when you think about it, when you're looking at things from an MRA perspective or such, or as I declare myself an equalist, but essentially I tend to fall into MRA camps on this issue. And the latest news regarding how the decision was finally made to allow women in certain combat situations. Now keep in mind, they're not actually being allowed in full infantry combat situations, so it's still not exactly equal on that level. But some of the feedback that I'm noticing from some of those in the MRA camp is pretty much the same as my initial reaction to it, which was, hey, it's about damn time, it's a good move, it's a step in the right direction. But see, I take it a little bit of a step further. See, I don't level it down to just, oh goody goody, now women get to shed blood on the battlefield just like the men do. It goes a little bit deeper with me than that. In fact, I'll tell you straight up and I'll tell you honest, factually, how I really feel about this thing. I could care less, at least as the way things are currently set up now. Let me put it that way. There's that little conditional that I'll throw in there. Now, if situations change and things are this little condition gets swept out of the way, then you might hear me screaming about, yeah, put women on the front lines and right along with the men because they're able-bodied too and blah 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 blah. Of course, if anybody who's spent any time in the military knows that there's a reason that the military was an all-male force to begin with. And again, those of you who have spent time in the military with me, I don't even have to state it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for the sake of playing the role of an equalist, hey, if we're all equal and if we're all supposed to be involved in sharing the burden for our society's protection and yada yada, then sure, don't let somebody's external or internal genitalia disqualify them from actually serving on the battlefield if the call goes up and somebody's saying, hey, you know, go shed blood and spill your own blood for whatever political agenda cause that somebody thinks is worth fighting and dying for, which, you know, personally, I don't think there is any such thing, at least not currently. But my whole issue with this, again, like I said, on the surface it sounds like good news, it sounds like positive news. I just call it a step in the right direction because, as I said before, it really doesn't fix the problem, not entirely. It addresses some of the problems and it gives us a little bit of hope that maybe they'll flex their muscle a little bit more so where things are a lot more equal. But as the thing stands right now, the fact or the issue that women are going to be allowed in combat is not the most important issue to me. And you want to know why? Simply because of the fact that women still have an option. See, we have supposedly an all-volunteer military force, which means that whether you're a man or a woman, you can sign up with good old Uncle Sammy and you passed all your little tests and everything and he declares you fit and sane enough, then you get to wear the uniform, you get to tote the M16 or whatever they're using nowadays, and you can play soldier. So that's all well and good for everybody, but see, women have that option, and men have that option, so it's free choice. Anybody who wants to do it, they can do it. Where I would like to see a repair, and as I said, this whole thing about battling on the front lines aside, at this point in the juncture, I could care less whether or not women can serve in combat. Because if they joined the military, they joined of their own free volition. And if they joined the military at the time when they declared that women are not permitted to fight in the front lines or whatever, like I said, that's an argument for when that argument comes up. But they're allowed to either fight or not fight because they made a conscious choice to decide that, hey, I've got the option to join the military if I want to join the military. And if I don't want to join the military, or if I want to do anything that I can do to avoid military service, I'm good to go because my pussy protects me. Now see, what I would like to see, forget this stuff about how great and wonderful it is that women are going to be on the front lines. That's bullshit. Because here's where the real issue about women serving in the military has the most impact. Don't wait for them to join the military before they decide that they want to take that noble sacrifice and risk their own lives and their own safety and defend their country by becoming murderous monsters. That is not the issue. The issue is, what if you decide that you don't want to go, or that you don't want to set yourself up in a situation where you'll have to go? Oh yes, I am talking about the compulsion to register for selective service, or as we called it in Vietnam, the draft. You see, even though women are getting their little bit of a pass now to say like, hey look, if you want to ride with the big boys, you can flex your own feminine muscles just like the rest of them and go out there and tote the M16 and point at the enemy and shoot somebody. But again, as I said, they have that option. Well, it's no volunteer force. You had an option too. Yeah. But you know what we don't have an option in as men? We cannot decide that because of our conscientious objector status, or simply because we just don't want to do it, that we snub the registering for selective service. See, if we do that, if men do that, you lose federal funding, you lose all sorts of grants, you lose all sorts of loans for education, for businesses loans or whatever. The big one is that you can't get work in any sort of a government job, and hardly you can get work in hardly any job nowadays, because they'll even ask you on your damn application, have you registered for selective service? And if you answered no, you don't get it hired. Now how is that fair and equal? Women get to go on the battlefield, now they get to die and shed blood in the United States. So fucking what? Show me the day when they get penalized for deciding that they want to be conscientious objectors. Where they say, look, I don't believe in war, I don't believe in toting a weapon, I don't believe in being called up to serve for my country, to go over and kill some people who never did a damn thing to me. But if you rock a penis and you decide that you want to take that stand, yeah, good luck. So for all you MRA guys out there who are celebrating and applauding this latest decision, again, I'm there with you. It's a step in the right direction. But it's not the real issue. The real issue is, if we're going to make it fair and equal across the board, as we keep claiming that we want, we have to do one of two things. We either have to share the penalty with those on the opposite end of the spectrum, or we do the right thing and just eliminate registration for the draft altogether, which would be the smart thing, which would be the more rational thing, which would be the more honorable thing. But as long as they're going to have it, then we should be demanding that fair and equal treatment across the board. Damn whether or not a woman dies on the battlefield, that's a non-issue. The real issue is, what if I don't want to cast my lot in with somebody who can call me up at any given moment and then penalize me for not registering? Now, if you want to put women under that same pressure and suffer those same penalties, then I'll be right there, and I'll be one of the first ones jumping up and shouting, screaming hallelujah. But until then, this thing about allowing women to fight on the battlefield is just a band-aid. And I broke my promise to keep this thing short, so I'm going to end it here, get myself some rest. End of line.